Krugersdorp, the home of the southernmost railway station in South Africa. Verdant hills, farmland and nature reserves surround the town, known as the first dorp in South Africa. It is also home to the toughest race with the warmest heart, the Voet of Africa Marathon. 2014 was the 37th edition, and with a new sponsor in the form of Agri-Mega Group, there's no doubt this event will grow from strength to strength. Runners from all over congregate onto the small town to experience its hospitality, relaxation, but also to take on this tough race. Including a 10-kilometer fun run, half marathon and the main event, the marathon, the Voet has attracted a field of around 2,500 runners, along with their friends and families.
On your marks, get set.
But 2014 saw a change in the route due to unforeseen circumstances.
Since December last year, 2013, there were quite a lot of rain in this area, and we had flood damage on the original route on landowners' land, and that landowner has been consulted, and it's been decided that at this point in time it's almost irreparable, so we had to make the change. We thought that we could repair it, but about a week before race time we decided it's much more safe for the athletes, for the marshals, for the water points, and also for our spectators to actually have another route, an alternative, which is an interim. I've heard some rumors that this will be revised, and I think next year we might even go back to the original Voet of Africa mountainous route for the 42.
Whilst Bernard Rakatsa, a competent trail runner, surges into the lead, we must also remember that the Voet has had some famous names compete here in the past. 1996 Olympic marathon champion Josiah Togwane winning in 1995, and Alana Meyer running her first ever half marathon here. Few will be surprised that she won the race, but few know that she won it as a junior athlete. First 4 kilometers are run through the part of the town before heading off-road. For those who are not so comfortable on the off-road section, the early part is no mean feat, with some very short and sharp steep climbs that will tear this field apart. Tandiso Kina has decided at the start of the first climb that it's time to up the pace. The pace he certainly has. Very quickly opened up a huge gap. Marathon runners will do 2 laps, the half marathon 1 and the 10 kilometer has its own route. Famous features of the Voet, the 218-meter climb, and 4 kilometer Soetmansberg, this time not part of the race. This, however, does not make this edition any easier. That, however, had no impact on the entries.
Very, very happy in terms of the entries we received. There was an increase of around about 33% on the online entries about 3 days before the race started, and by race time more or less 20% increase in online entries for the main race. The overall participation excellent. We've definitely increased on last year's participation for the 10, 21 and the 42 kilometers, and we're very happy from that point of view, and the interest in the race is really fantastic.
While the rest of the field still heads into town, Kina is flying. Already having torn this field apart, he now heads off towards the off-road section, and the real test is about to begin. Whilst the sun comes through the trees and makes for some really good footage, Kina has no time for the scenery. Once he hits the more exposed sections of the route, he still has a big lead. Going is beginning to get tough. Further back, Ursula France has taken the early control of the women's race. And after struggling for some time with funding, the Voet will be happy to know that this year's sponsors, Agri-Mega Group, will once again be there in 2015.
The Agri-Mega Group will definitely be in as a sponsor for next year, and then from the side of Coca-Cola, they are running very strong this year in terms of supporting this event, and we are really appreciating what they do. We appreciate what they invest in the event, and also the visibility here, because it is true that sports people, men and women, and even the small ones, they do get very, very thirsty. From our side, it's rural development, it's agricultural development, and we want to focus on what the countryside has got to offer.
Certainly very good news indeed, and the foot and the area certainly has a lot to offer, as Suzette Vermaak has now taken the lead in the women's race, approaching the dam for the first time. Ursula France having relinquished the lead a little bit. And there is a buccaneer competing amongst the men. You'll find them everywhere, all over the countryside, one of the biggest football clubs in South Africa. And just look at that countryside as the leading men now approach the road section for the end of that first lap. And it's Kina still in the lead, flying along, but not too far behind him. David Rakatsa, or rather Bernard Rakatsa, very, very strong trail runner, will have some say in this race. But Kina is having none of this. He's on the road section. There's Rakatsa, still some way behind him. Ursula France back in the women's lead. Candice Hall now moving into second. Suzette Vermaak on her tail. Big smile there from Candice Hall. Got one more lap to go, Candice. It's not going to be easy, but then she knows this. And Kina is still flying as he heads off for the second lap of the Voet of Africa marathon. Beginning to struggle a little bit as he is about to hit the road for the last time, some 9 kilometers to the finish line. Just look at the smooth running here, though, of Bernard Rakatsa, scything through the back markers of the marathon. Are still on their first lap. Very, very fluid style. Kina, well, he's beginning to struggle, and there behind him in the red orange vest you can see Bernard Rakatsa looking very strong. It's the man. Trail runner, as I said, and he would have been able to go along that route fairly comfortable. Kina now is almost in the finish line. He has been passed by Bernard Rakatsa. You can see him far up ahead in the distance there. It is in fact Bernard Rakatsa who comes through to win the 2014 edition of Voet of Africa marathon. Long time leader Kina through for second. Out on the women's field, Candice Hall is in the lead. She hasn't got far to go, but the race is tough. She also breaks into a walk every now and then. Now heading off the main road, just outside of Bredasdorp. They make a little bit of a loop to go underneath the main road. And it's around about 3 or so kilometers to the finish line. There we go. Less than a kilometer to go, and again Candice Hall breaks into a walk. This is a very, very tough race. It has to be said. It is called the toughest race in South Africa, and Hall once again up into her running. Not wanting to be caught there by the chasing Ursula France, who is some way back though, so I think Candice Hall can relax here. Certainly has the race sewn up. Very well judged race it was indeed, letting Ursula France do a lot of the front running early on, and then gradually reeling her in. Here she comes to win the 2014 Voet of Africa marathon. Ursula France, well, she's going to have to settle for second. And strong though as she comes in here now. But on the day, not strong enough. Right then, confirmation there of the results. Bernard Rakatsa, well, he got almost a minute out of Mthandiso Kina in the last stages of the race. Tulani Magola in third, whilst Candice Hall convincingly winning the women's race ahead of Ursula France. And Suzette Vermaak, good performance by her to finish in third. 2015, well, Agri Mega Group is still in it, as are Coca-Cola. But some negotiations going on with some new stakeholders to make the race bigger and better.
2015, we got to wait, some stakeholders to consult with, but against the background of what the Voet is known for, the toughest marathon with the warmest heart and the hospitality in the Overberg, I am excited and I look forward to the decision in the end to maybe just take it more right over and across the mountain again.
Well, that would be good news indeed if it goes across the mountain again. And looking forward to 2015. You watch the space because the race is going to be on again.
Next year will be the same time of the year. It's the middle weekend of the month of October, and I think that is from the 16th, Friday. We'll have the Twinkie, the fun run for 4 kilometers, and then the next day the marathon, the half marathon and the 10 kilometers, which will be the 17th of October, and the 18th we'll have mountain biking in what we now call the Mega Sport Classic, which is a weekend for the Western Cape, a weekend for South Africa to not only come and participate in what we have here in terms of the marathon, but also support it with high school and primary school athletics, the top 10 athletics. At this point in time, drawing around about 80 schools to Bredasdorp for the event, and then the marathon, and on Sunday, the cycling.
A fantastic time had by all in Bredasdorp. They certainly know how to put on a fantastic event. Hope to see you there in 2015.